R.I.P. Pop. Whole lot of shit going on in this world. Nihilism. Time for our people to wake
Hail
up.
Mary, Queen Sheba, Sister Nefertiti, for you will rob the greedy and give to the needy. Hail Mary, supersede all their lies with the truth. Protect the queens, we have died for the youth. We on the rise now, we killing spies now. We had enough, you can see it in our eyes now. People gotta die for it causes an explosion. Talking nihilism from executive erosion. Corporate corrosion on the pipes of legislation. Cops squeezing triggers, not the slightest hesitation. Mad demonstration, how many mamas gotta cry? I still wonder why little Ayana had to die. People of Detroit, know my heart grieves with ya. Soldiers of the struggle, know my heart grieves with ya. Martyrs of the plight, I pray Allah's pleased with ya. I swear we won't stop until we all are free with ya. It's a new time, new era, new agenda. Sorry Jesse Jackson, we ain't trying to surrender. Held us to the back, young guys front and center. Spring with the heat, they'll fall like winter. Make them grow cold, science of the 4 seasons. Oscar, Mike, Eric, and Trevana, 4 reasons. Hail Mary, Queen Sheba, Sister Nefertiti, for you will rob the greedy and give to the needy. Hail Mary, supersede all their lies with the truth. Protect the queens, we have died for the youth. Hail Mary, we on the rise now, we killing spies now. We had enough, you can see it in our eyes now. So do you wanna ride or die? La da 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 da. Penitentiaries is packed with our people. The Ku Klux Klans had a shape like a steeple. First they burned crosses in our yards, then they burned them in our heads. For my homies in the state and the feds, we ballin'. You out of sight, but in our mind, the block is stuck. The judge a criminal to us, fucking lock them up. In the court of law, or we abort the law. Free the Panther Party, Mumia Abu-Jamal, and free Larry, free Jeff, free Louis Bay. See, we got love for them, fuck what they rulers say. Cause Mark Clark and Fred Hampton died the cruelest way. My homie spent $1,000, bought the coolest K. And we ain't shooting at each other, it's for retribution. Strategizing, analyzing modern revolution. And I'll be there in the dark, thugging eternal through my heart. Now let's get it. Hail Mary, Queen Sheba, Sister Nefertiti, for you will rob the greedy and give to the needy. Hail Mary, supersede all their lies with the truth. Protect the queens, we have died for the youth. Hail Mary, we on the rise now, we killing spies now. We had enough, you can see it in our eyes now. So do you wanna ride or die? La da 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 da. To the east, showing submission, then a load ammunition. Militant minded, lead brigades of my intuition. Lyrical ramble, visualize me riding my camel. Toes out my sandal, green turban matching my camo. Mini 14, katana sword swinging from waist. They hunger for the truth, let's give them a taste. All hail the rising sun, distant land, my guides, my gun. Omnipotent ones, heaven casted down the demons. Full of that zeal, descendants of Emmanuel. Enlightened ones, deities if you will. Let me reveal the gospel. Mine took me to the Judean hills. South of Maxim today known as Brazil. Ready for whatever, my Moorish army. No man born a woman alarms me. They Negro laws can't harm me. Believe I'm sent to resurrect every mind that they strip. And have them not afraid to load up that clip and die for a reason. Against my people, ones have committed treason. The holy war and they fall was the season. Hail Mary.
Boy. Bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, what was you thinking about when you wrote that one right there, man?
Oh, man. Let me tell you, God. I mean, first off, man, let me just stop for a second and give praises to the Most High, the author of life, the designer of death. You know, the one who is the rootless root from whence all life sprang forward, the causeless cause that has no cause, and yet is the cause of everything. The only creator that I know, the only creator that I owe. You know, and stepping down, yet remaining on high, I like to extend the highest attainable honors to his love thought, made manifest on the shores of Sansonville, North Carolina in year of 1886, known to the uninitiated as Prophet Noble Drew Ali, known to the initiated as Il-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali, who brought law, taught law, and left light. Well, when I wrote that song, I mean, anytime that you touch anything that Pac had put forward, you better come with it. You know, and so I just felt like You know, I hear artists all the time remake certain artists' songs. But I noticed that nobody ever did a rendition of a Tupac song. Now, they didn't borrow his beats and use similar titles for songs. But the subject matter they would shy away from, because when you are dropping jewels, dropping information in rhyme, then you have to be connected to what it is that you're saying. And see, Pac, he was able to connect to the message that he was bringing to people because he was born into a Black Panther family. He was married to the mission. You know, he just got lost in the sauce, you know, in the process of trying to redeem his people. And so I felt like it was necessary for me to build further, you know, to take that baton that he had been running with in the rap world, to take it and try to run that last 100, you know what I mean, and try to get across the finish line. But in redemption, what I realized that it's a price for redemption, and I also realized that there is no finish line, you know, because in this journey of trying to make people's lives better and reach them through music or reach them through certain mediums, that not everybody gonna be saved, not everybody gonna be attentive, not everybody's gonna be receptive to what it is that you're bringing. Case in point, you could be the best chef that your city know, but you may have to go to a different city and prepare a meal, and the people down in that area, they might not like what you're cooking. It's not an indictment against your cooking. It's just that sometimes you have to feed people where you find them, you know. And so with this song, I just wanted to create a song that embodied the passion and the commitment of the struggle that our people face, the activism, to complement the works that organizations like Black Lives Matter are putting forward, you know, and just become an example or an embodiment of the plight our people face in today's America. Because at this present moment, you know, leadership has become pleadership, you know, and so whatever gains true activists gain over the period of 5 years, the pleaders, so-called leaders, negotiated away in 5 minutes. And so I term them Mr. Potato Head leaders. And the reason I call them Mr. Potato Head leaders is because they brown on the outside, but they white on the inside. And anytime the enemy feel like it, he could take off their lips so they can't speak out on behalf of what they know is wrong. They can't speak out in a way that's pleasing to one party. These pleaders today, they always try to speak with a forked tongue, where they say things, they want to bring a conversation that's pleasing to the side that they're trying to represent and the side that's cutting their check. And so it's time out for that. And so you notice in the song, I say, sorry, Jesse Jackson, we not trying to surrender. Because they would always send these type of pleaders to calm us down. You know, once we get to burning buildings and tumping over cars, they want to send these pleaders in to try to calm us down. You know, and so when I thought about it, I said, well, hell, we are from a genealogy that always sends smoke signals. So if we burning buildings, that's genetic. We inherited that from our ancestors. Something is wrong. See, we would send a smoke signal, and it'll say something is wrong. You know what I mean? And so when you see these buildings burning from city to city in affiliation with some kangaroo court decision where a cop after another cop is acquitted of all wrongdoing and charges, yeah, buildings burn because they sending smoke signals to the rest of their family across this country that something is wrong. And so I realized in music we also have a responsibility, you know. And so if certain songs become the soundtrack of the struggle, then so be it, you know, but it's necessary. And so I was thinking about, you know, just how dire the times are that we're in right now. I was thinking about how needed it is for the people of my generation to step up, because that generation that's up under us, they looking for that voice of reason. They looking for those marching orders to come from the people that's 8 to 10 years older than them, that they look up to. But see, you got to be able to deposit realness in order to withdraw their attention. And so with my music, you'll notice that I got certain songs that's as real as the streets could want to receive it. because I'm feeding them where I find them. The only way that you can uplift a person is sometimes you got to get underneath where they laying at. And some of our people laying in the mud. I mean, the activity and actions that they displaying, they in the mud. You know, and so sometimes, what do you say to him to cause him to change his ways, or to give him an opportunity to listen to whatever knowledge you may have to give him? Well, the first thing, you can't be condescending. You see what I mean? I realize you can't be condescending towards your brother because you don't know what 52 cards they got dealt. You know, but if they got the complexion that you got, you better believe whatever 52 cards they got a lot of jokers in the deck. You know what I mean? Because we dealing with a joker. We dealing with a cunning, crafty, socially engineering, maniacal, former slave master's grandchild at this present hour. And so I don't know what the next person might be going through, but I understand. You going through something. I know that because how my life has panned out, how I watch my parents' life pan out, how I watch my grandparents' life pan out. And see, in quote-unquote Black America, oftentimes the only things our parents are able to leave us is a bill to try to pay to get them buried. You know, but this is the type of crisis that our people are faced with and dealing with today. You know, when it comes to, and I say this all the time, I say the problem we most face as a people is financial. See, I don't care if you're a Christian, Jehovah's Witness, Hindu, Buddhist, you follow the teachings of Confucius, Islam, whatever your religion is, that's personal. But I'm talking about some type of remedy that would assist and help us all in becoming more moral, becoming more socially active, becoming more politically aware, you know. But the only thing that's going to ease your mind from the difficulties and hardships that society places on it is some money in your pocket. You see, so the problems that poor people face, they lean towards escapisms, the drugs and alcohol. And I say this, rich people, people with money, they drink and smoke just like poor people drink and smoke. But rich people or people with money, they drink and smoke to celebrate life. Poor people drink and smoke to escape it. You see, and so with that being said, reparations has become like a cuss word inside of a courtroom. Inside of the courtrooms of America, no matter if it's a state, federal, no matter what branch of government, no matter what level the courtroom is in, reparations is like a cuss word because they don't ever want to see us on an equal playing field as them financially. Because in our absence of financial activity, they've been able to monopolize on every type of financial investment opportunity possible. But they know that if they reparated us and placed us on an equal playing field as them financially, then right across the street from all their present business, refineries, factories, etc., they'll see Black-owned and operated businesses and factories and refineries, etc., popping up across the street. That's not what they want. They want us to continue to be a consumer people and a service sector class people. They want us still in the capacity of serving them to some degree. And so it don't matter today, man, if you're on a football field or if you was in a cotton field, the European is still over you. It don't matter if you're on a basketball court or in a court of law, the European is still over you. And so at this hour, you know, those of us that's conscious, those of us that's dedicated, devoted, married to the mission, that's been, see, and I'm not some Johnny come lately. You know, people that know me can bear witness to the fact that I've been on this battlefield of higher thought since I was 21 years old. I'm 45 now, so I almost got a quarter of a century, like we was talking about earlier, inside of the manumission of our people. And it not just in the Americas, but anywhere in the diaspora. You know, because our people, we were dispersed to several areas, but they gave us names according to what they named the place that they were ruling and working. And so we'll think that we different from our brothers in Jamaica because Jamaica called Jamaica, and you say you African American. We'll think we different than our brothers in Haiti because they call themselves Haitian or Dominican or Dominican, and we call ourselves African American. No, it's the same bloodline. You know, it's just whatever conqueror ruled that area, you took on the name that he named that area. You see what I'm saying? And also his language. So they got our brothers in Haiti speaking French. You know, they got our brothers in Jamaica speaking French. They got our brothers from Puerto Rico speaking a broken form of Spanish. They got us speaking English. You know, but we don't look like the people in England. Our brothers that's in Haiti and Jamaica, they don't look like the people of France. Our brothers in Puerto Rico, they don't look like the people of Spain. And so you take on, once you conquer, you take on the language and the religion of your conqueror. You know, and so I see that there is a global conspiracy against the rise of our people. And I say that because there is no black, so-called black, superpower country on the planet. Think about that. 52 countries in Africa, 52 and a half with one Sudan split. Not one superpower. Not one. Even though the land is minerally rich and wealth and abundance is found right beneath the soil. I mean, we was running around Africa kicking diamonds the size of softballs. You know, because it meant nothing to us. Our value was in human life and knowledge. You know, they put a price on certain goods, etc., and now these goods are more important to the next person than the person's life themselves. So I'm not just thinking globally. I mean, thinking nationally. I'm thinking more globally, because the problems that we face in America today, you know, similar scenarios are playing out all throughout the continent of Africa, and wherever our people could be found. We always the downtrodden and rejected, you know, but that's scriptural, because God said in his books, in his scripture, that he would choose the despised and rejected. He said he would take the tail and make it the head. He said he would make those that was last first, you know. And so we have to sometimes understand that even though we are ignorant to the history, it doesn't omit us from the backlash of those that know the history. So we don't understand that we were once in power. The reason you don't see a black superpower today is because we were once in power and we was ruling the whole planet. And once these other peoples, Chinese, Europeans, Arabs, etc., finally got their foothold on something, they vowed, you know, to never again let the so-called African, you know, get in a position of power again. Because once we rule for a long duration. And so yeah, this song, it was just an embodiment, man, of several thoughts, you know. And I was in prison, and I was watching so many of our people, you know, crying out for civil injustices, etc., and out there, you know, wife beaters to basic what they got on tactical uniforms. So we stand in wife beaters to tactical uniforms, you know. They got all the type of weaponry that they want, you know, and we sitting out there with just a voice and screaming for some kind of justice, because we will be hurt and upset at the rulings of these courts. And see, sometimes it's not up to the courts to give us what we want in America. You know, we have to take our claims inside of the international courts in Geneva, Switzerland. We have to allow the United Nations to intervene in our affairs, because anytime any government deploys its military on a part of its citizens, then it's no longer a national issue, it's an international issue at that moment. And so once the United Nations passed the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, there are a lot of sections inside of that document that can become the foundation that we build a new reality on. You know, but if we crying to the uncle of his nephew who committed the crime against us, then good luck with that. You know, and so I just feel as though, you know, you have people like Larry Hoover. You know, I mentioned Hoover inside of there. He should be set free. You know, because you want to call Larry Hoover a gangster and a tyrant, but you don't want to talk about J. Edgar Hoover. You know, I mentioned Jeff Fort. He should be freed. Jerry Lewis Bay. He should be freed. Mumia Abu-Jamal. He should be freed. You know, and the reason why I believe and I feel like they should be freed is because they never were citizens of this country for you to try them inside of your court. See, you can't try a person from France in the Chinese court. You see, without them committing some type of high-ranking offense against that nation. You know, the Chinese courts try Chinese citizens. The courts in France, they try French citizens. How are you going to try a free national, even though they might not have known that they are a free national? How are you going to try a free national inside of your courts when you don't have subject matter jurisdiction over them? You know? And so I won't give them too much in this setting, but I want to just say Walter Scott, killed in South Carolina. We love you. We never forget you. Alden Sterling, killed in Louisiana. We love you. We'll never forget you. Philando Castile, Minnesota, killed by cops. We love you. We'll never forget you. Ayanna Stanley Jones, my baby girl, Detroit, Michigan. We love you. We'll never forget you. Tamir Rice, Cleveland, Ohio. We love you. We'll never forget you. Ezekiel Ford, Los Angeles, California. We love you. We'll never forget you. Eric Garner, New York. Love you. We'll never forget you. Trayvon Martin, Florida. We love you. We'll never forget you. Oscar Grant, Oakland, California. We love you. We'll never forget you. Mansour Ball-Bay, Damore, Islam, St. Louis, Missouri. We love you. We'll never forget you. Sister Sandra Bland, Michael Brown, St. Louis. Love you. Never forget you. Freddie Gray, Baltimore. Love you. Never forget you. Sam Du Bois, Cincinnati, Ohio. We love you. We'll never forget you. Kenny Green, Alton, Illinois. We love you. We'll never forget you. Laquan McDonald, Chicago, Illinois. We love you. We'll never forget you. Sean Bell, New York. We love you. We'll never forget you. Darian Hunt, he had a toy sword and they killed him. We love you, man. We'll never forget you. Timothy Stansbury, Brooklyn. We love you. We'll never forget you. Rekia Boyd, 22 years old, shot in the back by the police in Chicago. Sister, we love you. We'll never forget you. Jonathan Farrell, Florida. He was playing football for Florida State. Car ran out of gas, had car problems, went and knocked at a door or something. They called the police. The police pulled up, killed her brother. Brother, we love you. We'll never forget you. And John Crawford, shot at Walmart. He had just bought a BB gun. Police come inside the store and kill him with the BB gun. We love you. We'll never forget you. You know, and this list is namely but not limited to. You know, and sometimes we just got to be the voice for the voiceless. You know?
Man. Very powerful, bro. Very powerful. I got one last question for you, man. You know, I got chills on me right now.
Yes,
you got the Rude Awakening Forum, and you got this right here. So, what are you gonna call this right here?
I'm gonna title this. You know, it's all a rude awakening, but this is more of a lyrical renaissance that's taking place right now.